The Eightfold Path is organized into three fundamental aspects. These are virtues or ethics, known as Sila, concentration or Samadhi, and wisdom, known as Panna. Here in the 10 Panamis, we see some of the same qualities show up, beginning with Sila again. This is because the 10 Panamis was a later formation, and teachers recognized that a list of the most fundamental human virtues needed to begin with Sila, or morality itself, as the foundational prerequisite. Now, like all the selfless virtues, Sila requires development. In the Tibetan tradition, the suttas describe a simile involving Himalayan mountain yaks. It's said that these mountain yaks have very long tails that serve them well at persistently whisking away the perpetual torment of pesky insects and flies, things like flies, and all sorts of whatever else that flies. According to the analogy, if there is ever an accident in which a yak were to get its tail stuck in something like a thorn bush, it wouldn't break or shred away from that bush, from where it's stuck, as an attempt to free itself. And the meaning of this is that the virtue is it's a necessary mental quality that without it, we would be perpetually tormented by the constant nagging of negative mental qualities, and worse, we would be useless as a race. So without Sila, we may as well give up like a mountain yak who has gotten their tail stuck in the shrub. Similar to what I explained about the previous Panami, dana, or generosity, all the virtues are universal, conscious traits. They're not relative to any specific time or place or culture. They are absolute. They're cosmic. So to have the integrity and ethics to maintain virtue is to follow superior laws of nature that allow entire civilizations and world systems to develop and thrive. And without a foundation in cosmic virtue, it is inevitable that every government system and society, especially artificial intelligence, on any planet or galaxy will rapidly deteriorate and devolve into more and more disorderly, complicated, dysfunctional ways of life, until finally the whole economy and civilization collapses, leaving the majority of people out of work in the initial stages and with poverty, sick, and eventually dead. The lack of virtue is what leads nations to violence and war and separation and discrimination, racism and sexism, cheating and lying in both the professional world and in other aspects, the personal life. It leads to everything bad: slavery, exploitation, the abuse of sex in the form of lust, and perverted things like prostitution, human trafficking, pornography, and so on. The development of virtue requires comprehension and the observation of precepts. We have to reflect and recognize the causes and effects that virtue and ethics, or the lack thereof, have on societies and cultures. If we sincerely look at how we behave, then we can begin to understand how preserving a moral standard makes a difference to our well-being and evolution. This comprehension convinces us to make the necessary changes, which are not only to cultivate the panamis, but to also eliminate negativity, both in action and in thought. And these primary negative qualities also have their own lists, one of them being the 5 hindrances, and another being the 5 precepts.